Hi guys, Steady Eddie here, coming to you from deepest, darkest Siem Reap, Cambodia. Now this video is a very different video than the one that I planned. I was actually planning a straightforward hotel review, but then I realised there's an aspect of that hotel which means I really couldn't recommend it. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. It's simply because of a rather scary encounter with a ladyboy. So I've decided to keep the full-length version of this video for another day. You must understand, I don't want to run into defamation laws or anything like that. So anyway, this story begins when I left Soksan Road and walked down towards my hotel, which is about 500 meters away from the junction. The thing about the road that I'm staying in is that it's very dark of a night time. And once you get out of Soksan Road, which obviously is full of life, you then go into a very dark road, and 500 meters is a long way. Now, I walked this road a couple of times back to my hotel, and both times I was followed by ladyboys, two different ones. The first one was on foot. The second time I got followed, it was a ladyboy on a motorbike. I don't know, maybe it's my aftershave that does it. But I made this hotel review, just casually commenting on that, and then I spent the final night in this hotel, and I had a third encounter being followed by a ladyboy, and this time it was far more spooky and far more serious as well. So I'm not going to mention a hotel. I'll do that at a later date. I'll upload the main video at a later date. But for now, I'm going to tell you the story of the very persistent ladyboy. Okay, so that video that you just watched was filmed the day before I left the hotel. Now, on the final night of that hotel, I had a night out in Soksan Road. I had something to eat and drink, and I basically stayed at a bit too long. It was beyond midnight because I was travelling early the next day. But anyway, beyond midnight, I left the bars in Soksan Road and walked back to the hotel. Now, on the corner, as you turn into the road here from Soksan, again, a ladyboy there. I don't know if it was one that I'd seen before or a different one or whatever. A ladyboy was across the road, calling out, darling, darling, yeah, from a ladyboy, okay? Now, after midnight, all the bars and restaurants or anything, shops or anything in the road where I was staying, they were all closed by then, except a little restaurant at the top of the road. So anyway, I stood there outside the restaurant for a few minutes, munching a snack before going back to the hotel. And this ladyboy passed me, didn't speak to me, but walked maybe 10 meters and went into an alleyway somewhere. I got fair enough. So after I finished my snack, I walked down the road towards the hotel. I passed this alleyway, and there was the ladyboy waiting. Hello, darling. Just ignored. I kept on walking, and as I was about 100 meters away from the hotel, I realised that ladyboy was following me. You see, I think there was a reason for this, because as you go further down that road, there is less activity for night time and less anything, so you are very much on your own. And the ladyboy called out again, darling, and I kept going. I didn't look back, and then, a bit further on, hello, darling, yeah, okay. So I actually got to the entrance to the hotel. Bearing in mind, there's no security there, there's no gate or nothing of a night time, and I realised that ladyboy had been following me. So I turned into the hotel, walked into the courtyard, and I thought, well, that's it, I'm in the hotel now, so I'm safe. Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? Except what you've got to realise that ladyboys, or any freelancers for that matter, they probably know that hotel you're staying in as well as you do. I mean, you may be the one staying in the hotel, but they actually live in that vicinity, and they may well, you know, they've probably been to that hotel before for whatever reason. So anyway, I turned into the courtyard, and it's all dark, and I made my way up to those steps. I was on the first floor, yeah? I went up the steps on the first floor. I thought, you know, I shook out that Ladyboy. Absolutely no one around. I walked along the balcony towards outside my room, and there was the Ladyboy in the courtyard looking up at me. Yes, the Ladyboy was there looking up at me. And, you know, it was kind of eerie in a way because it was dark, and, you know, to see this Ladyboy sort of silhouetted in the courtyard, darling, this was a very, very persistent Ladyboy. Now, I had my key in my hand for the room, to open the hotel room. I mean, you know, once you think that you're inside the hotel room, you're quite safe there. Until I realised that the Ladyboy was actually waiting for me to do that. He had sussed out which hotel I was staying in, and now was waiting for me to open that door so that he would know which room I was staying in. It gets more and more sinister, doesn't it? So I just looked down at the Ladyboy, bearing in mind I'm on the first floor balcony. I said, go away. Just go away. Darling, it's okay. It's okay. And the sight of this Ladyboy staring there, you know, silhouetted in the courtyard, it's really, really, it was quite spooky, really, quite scared, because you never know what they're carrying with them. I said, look, just go away, okay? Just go away. And no, it's okay, darling, it's okay. This Ladyboy was deliberately standing there, knowing that there was no security. I mean, he was obviously very familiar with that hotel, and I'm sure he'd been there before. He was just waiting for me to open that hotel door so that he knew exactly which room I was staying in. So yeah, I was a little bit, you know, spooked by all of this, and I'd done something which, you know, probably not the most manly thing, but I noticed in the room next to me there was. You know, there was noise from in there. You know, only a man noise. There was somebody in that room. So I knocked on the room next door, and a Frenchman, you know, opened the door, and you know, I said to him, I said, look, see this Ladyboy here is harassing me. You know, won't leave me alone. He's following me in here, and the Frenchman looked down and said, "Oui," or "non," or whatever it is that French people say, you know, it was something like that anyway. And then he went back in his room and closed the door. The Ladyboy was still standing there in the courtyard. He was waiting for me to put that key in the door and open it, because he then knew which room I was staying in, and there was no bloody security around here for night time at all. So, no, I'm not going to go in the room. What I'd done is I went to the second and the third floor above to look down. I abandoned that plan of opening the hotel door. I went to the, you know, to the top floor. And by the time I got there, you know, I was looking down and couldn't see the Ladyboy anyway. I really thought that Ladyboy was going to be following me up those stairs. You know, that was a very determined Ladyboy, and wasn't going to take rejection easily. So I waited about 10 minutes and walked back down, and couldn't see him. But, you know, I was a little bit, I was a little bit scared. You never know, you know, the script with these people, or, you know, what they might be carrying, or you know, what lengths they'll go through. I finally got in my hotel room, and you know, Jesus Christ, I was waiting for that knock on the door. I was genuinely disturbed by it. I was waiting for that knock, but thankfully it never came. But yeah, I mean, that hotel needs some security for night time, because like I said a moment ago, generally when you meet, you know, freelancers or lady or whatever, they, bear in mind, if they live in that area, they probably are familiar with that hotel. This Ladyboy followed me into the courtyard of that hotel, knowing that there was no security, so he was obviously familiar with that hotel. And I think it's about time they did get some late night security, make it a bit safer for everyone. So anyway, okay, so that was my little story of the determined, spooky, silhouetted ladyboy who wasn't going to take no for an answer. And I don't know, it's really quite creepy being called darling when this person's in the courtyard waiting for you to go into your room. Darling. It's sort of creepy. Anyway, you know, that's it. You know, I must change my aftershave. No. Okay, that hotel should get some security the night time. Okay, so thanks for watching.